Hey, YouTube fans. This is Bo Coleman reporting from Elephants in the Room, my new podcast. And be sure you do your likes and subscribe to my channel. Hey, today we're going to talk about a subject. There's a Baltimore police officer by the name of Michael Wood, and he's doing an interview with a podcast called Young Turks. If you're not familiar with Young Turks is a very, I guess you could say, left-wing, liberal podcast, and it talks a lot about social issues, a lot involving police abuse, discrimination, and all these sorts of things. Anyways, we're going to do a video called Ex-Baltimore cop Michael Wood on racist, abusive police culture in an interview, and we're going to break it down. Anyways, I'm going to start the video, and from time to time we're going to break it down, but we'll see what you think. Here he goes.
Phenomenal interview for you. Are you buckled up? You better buckle up. Michael A. Wood Jr., former Marine, and in this particular case, more relevantly, former Baltimore Police Department officer, and a guy who's been speaking out about the culture of policing in this country and has some really interesting things to say. So you started tweeting about your time as a Baltimore police officer, and you said some pretty interesting things.
The only person that was surprised by what I said was everybody that doesn't live in the hood. Mm-hmm. Everybody that lives.
Okay, see what he says now. First of all, this guy's pretty brave for doing what he does, because he could get a lot of backlash from police officers. Just because he's not in the police doesn't mean he's not gonna receive some type of repercussions for what he's saying. So he's pretty brave for coming out and saying what he's saying. So I want to salute him for that. And you notice he said that what he said came as a surprise to everyone who didn't live in the hood. In other words, the hood being predominantly black and brown communities. So it shows you how much there's a disconnect already between certain communities and the black and brown community. Okay.
In the hood just went, oh, look, a cop admitted it. But everyone else said, oh my gosh, that really happens? Of course it happens. Did you think the black community was lying for the last 100 years? Is that what we really thought? So it's not that there's a racist cop. It's not that there's like this mass organization, like we have this conspiracy. It's that you go into this culture that has these racist roots that you don't think about. It's just what policing has become. And so you do it. A suspect gets kicked in the face. Somebody makes up a little bit on a PC statement. All this stuff is just what police do. So when you are a good guy joining the good guys, you thought that's what good guys do.
Okay, I'm going to start right there. Notice he said that there's deep-rooted racism within the police department, something that's been going on for hundreds of years, and that it's so natural that a good cop coming in can't tell the difference. He said, well, that's what we do. So that's what he does, because everybody else is doing it. Okay, we'll continue.
The house apart. You break things. You do things like that because those are thems. You don't care what you do to them. They're somebody else. They're the enemy. So if it was in Afghanistan and you were throwing things around, you just wouldn't care because they're the enemy. So it's the same thing. It's just callousness. Mm-hmm. Finally got my transfer to the Northern District. And when I got to the Northern District, I went to this place called Mount Washington, if you've been there. Mm-hmm. And that was like, where am I? This is Baltimore. Like, I'm driving down Cross Country Boulevard, and there's a stream next to me. I'm having there's like citizens out mowing the lawn, and so I'm like, well, these are the same people as me. Mm-hmm. I'm not gonna mess with these people. So I had to get stats. You have to get your arrest. You have to get everything that you're going to bring back to show you did.
Okay, let me pause for a second. Now, what he's saying that when he went to the communities he was supposed to police or protect, he saw normal people who did the same things he did, mow their lawns, love their kids, send their kids off to school, go to church, no different than where he came from. So he can't figure out why he has to do what he's doing and how he's going to do it. But he also mentioned there's a quota. He's got to have a certain amount of arrests to be considered a good officer. So now he's got to find, I guess, creative ways to get his quota up. Anyway, we'll continue.
Something. So I can't arrest the judge's son that's walking around there. I'm not going to jack him up and search him, right? Mm-hmm. So I would go to the Park Heights and to the black neighborhood, and I would get my arrest there so that I can make my supervisors happy, because we all knew I wasn't going to arrest anybody in Mount Washington.
part of the assumption that this is what you do. You go and it's institutional racism to its core.
I guess the emotional and moral change happened when I would watch the drug dealers. So I would watch them, I would sit in covert, and I would hide in vans or in buildings. I would sit there for like 13, 14 hours a day because I had to get up before they opened and I couldn't leave until they left.
Mm-hmm.
But when you're sitting there, you're watching everything he does, not just seeing him at his worst. So your whole time that you're a cop, you see everybody at their worst.